Welcome to another episode of Embodied Living, episode 9, and we're going to be talking about embodied authenticity. And I came across this as a topic for this podcast when I was scrolling Facebook. I came across a post that intrigued me. I have followed this woman. I enjoy her shares and posts. I often agree with them, but this one was a little different. It hit different in my body, the way it was talking. And so I'm going to just tell you a little bit about what she had put in this. And then I'll probably put in a few little notes here and there. But I want to explain like how this kind of went, this interaction on this post and what happened and why this became such an important topic to me to discuss in my podcast. So she makes her first point is absolutely 100% irrevocably true. The beauty industry has normalized the synthetic world. We've been doing that for decades. This is not new, right? Fake nails, fake breasts, fake hair, fake lips, fake ass, right? And I want to be completely real here because I understand what she's trying to say. Injections, breast implants, these can be very dangerous. So just please use caution and do your research and do not assume that the doctors will be honest with you because let's be honest here, right? Let's switch it around. They make a whole lot of fucking money on these procedures. So be smart. This includes liposuction, doing these different types of things in order for us to feel better or feel good in our own bodies. I think that it's important that we feel good in our own bodies, but we do need to look at where it comes from. And we'll get to that later on. So, but I just wanted to put that out there. So, what got me was that she said, your fake body isn't liberation or authenticity. And we're going to talk about that because, for one, what's fake and what's real? What are we referring to? Is having plumper lips something that makes you feel better about yourself and therefore it makes you feel more authentic? I don't know. I don't know your story. But she makes a very good point that these are poisons and that they are creating issues in our bodies. So I do want to say that I understand, I think, where she was coming from with this. Um, but she does talk to the fact that she also thinks it's wild that we women promote authenticity, yet we are fully addicted to a fake body. And I think that's a fucking gross exaggeration. I just don't see this much in real women. This is something that is shown more in the public eye. I mean, hello, Kardashians, right? And more of us ladies are much smarter than that. We know that this is not our expression, it's their expression. And they have every right to express that way if they choose. She speaks to all these different toxins creating horrible transitions through menopause. And for those of you who listened to episode 8 that I just did on menopause, I talk about a lot of different things that can cause these issues. And yes, toxins are one of them. The foods we eat are one of them. There's many, many things that attribute to this. And there's so many things in the foods that I think attribute more so, but her point is still there, right? These things that we do are fleeting. And that's what she says. And, but she's under the impression that because we choose certain things, like maybe to dye our hair, that now our golden years are going to be tough. And she ends it with saying, I don't care if you want to do these things, but be a grown up and accept that it is an expression. It isn't liberation and it's wildly toxic to your body. So she's saying that these things that perhaps make us feel better about ourselves aren't expressions. They're just toxic. And that's all. And she really just speaks to makeup and implants for the most part, these main two topics. But like I said, I was very intrigued. I thought this was a great topic. What I came out of also is that she believes in direct communication, is what she said. But what she was expressing was a viewpoint which pointed fingers to those who don't agree with her. So let me describe a little bit how this went. I responded. Shocking. That's what I do. I wanted to offer another way of looking at authenticity, but she would rather get offended, it seemed, than that I didn't agree with her completely. She wasn't interested in pondering another way to express. And many of the women who commented also were pointing fingers at the women who choose to show authenticity in a way they beautify themselves with no understanding of personal experience or wanting to really know the women's stories. And we do this a lot. And this is my big thing is we have to stop. We need to know each other's stories. We need to lift each other up. But I go on a tangent and I apologize. So, in this conversation, there were a few women who had responded to my comments and would ask me questions, and I loved it. And I told them great questions, and I would respond back. I want to honor their questions. I want to make sure that they know that I'm hearing them and simply giving back my own feedback of what I've experienced. Well, after I answered two ladies, I found out that I was blocked from commenting. So I will objectively assume I was posting too much in her eyes, but I think we can all come to the conclusion that it was more about the fact that I wasn't agreeing with the point she was making around expression. And I want to express also that I did tell her that I love this conversation and thank you for bringing it to the public. It's such an important one to discuss. Well, I have gone back and read this post a few times. I wanted to see, did I misunderstand something? Did I hear something at the time based on maybe how I was feeling? Was there something else going on? What was the reasoning for the post? What was the real thing she was trying to bring forward? And what really came to me, what hit me the most is, wait, what even is authenticity? What is our expression? And who has the right to tell us whether we're being authentic in our expression? So, I want to define authenticity a bit. And this could be more my way of looking at it. And I totally understand that. So, here goes. So, this whole world or whole word, authenticity, everyone loves to throw it around, right? We're all saying, "Ooh, I want to be authentic. I want to do this. I want to do that. Oh, I'm authentic. I'm this. I'm that." We do it all the time. But being authentic is about being real to yourself. And let's talk about that a little bit more. So, for me, authenticity is living in alignment with my truth, my values, my actual lived experience. It's not a checklist someone else made for me. And when it comes to embodied authenticity, well, that's when it's not just a thought or a cute Instagram caption. It's when I actually am living it, I'm breathing it, and feel it in my body. It's when my choices match the woman that I am, not the woman someone else says I should be. And with that said, here's a personal example. So in the past, I've always made it a point on a second date to show up without makeup. So I'll be all done up on the first one, really just kind of in it, seeing how I feel about the person, seeing if we have a communication that works, if the person is interesting. And the reason why on the second date I come in with no makeup, it's not because I don't love getting done up, because I do. I love it. I'm done up now. It's how I feel the most productivity happens. But I do it because I want them to see me completely natural. There's two sides of my authenticity, the fresh faced me, the glammed up me, depending on how much I'm doing or where I'm going. And they're both real, whether I have makeup on or whether I don't have makeup on. They're both part of who I am. They're both me. They're both real. Some days I love the process of getting dressed up and painting my face. And other days I love the freedom of just being bare. Neither cancels the other out. They're both part of my authentic expression. So let's talk a little bit about expression and the complexity of our choices that we make. So What really struck me in that original post was she said that fake things like makeup and implants mean you can't have a true relationship with your body, that it's not authentic, it's not liberating. And since it doesn't last, it's meaningless. Well, here's the thing, that's her perspective. One person's perspective. In my experience, and in the stories of so many women I've worked with, those things can be exactly what expression looks like. Expression doesn't always mean untouched, raw, and bare. Expression can be hair color, it's makeup, tattoos, piercings, the lotions we put on, getting our nails done, even what shoes we decide to put on our feet for that day. But and are some of these things toxic to the body? Of course they are. Yeah, absolutely. Toxic and inauthentic are not the same thing. Expression is about choice. Authenticity is about choice. And when we choose from a place of intention, from desire, creativity, that's authenticity. That is liberation. And let's be honest, aging happens no matter what. None of us are stopping time. But the way we choose to move through it, adorn ourselves, express who we are, that's not fake. That's real as hell. And we have every right to express ourselves the way we want. If we want to color our hair because maybe we don't like our original color, that's our choice. Nobody is here to tell us what we can and cannot do unless we let them. And listen, like I said, it's a valid point, right? We all get to define our relationship with our bodies. But the problem is when we universalize it, when we say this is the only way to be authentic. If you do it differently, you're fake. That's not truth telling, that's judgment. That's one dimensional thinking. That is not caring about what the other person's experiences are and why they are making the choices they're making. Authenticity is not cookie cutter, it's layered like an onion, it's nuanced, and it's deeply personal. What's liberating for her, the person who posted, might feel suffocating to me. What's free or what feels fake to her might feel like joyous self expression to someone else. And the danger is when we stop being curious about each other's experiences and stop policing, we have an issue because we have choices, ladies, whether it's makeup, boob jobs, Spanx, Botox, green smoothies, or a damn Target lip gloss. They don't exist in a vacuum. I want you to take a moment with this. Every choice we make is connected to our stories, our pain, our desires, our culture. One woman's implants might be her reclaiming her body after cancer. Another woman's bare face might be her reclaiming her body after years of being sexualized. So when we point fingers and say that's toxic, that's not authentic, we erase those stories. And in my world, that's not okay. It's unfair. It's not being balanced in who we are. And let's not pretend that the only toxins in our lives are in our mascara tubes. We're talking nutrition, environment, water quality, lotions, hair dye, even deodorants, antiperspirants that we put onto our skin. All of these things go into our bodies. They soak into our skin and affect us. And natural is not always healthy for us. Great example, arsenic is natural and yet toxic to our bodies. So yes, a lot of it is toxic. But here's the truth. Toxic doesn't automatically mean inauthentic. Authenticity isn't about banning things. It's about asking, why am I choosing this? Does this choice expand me or does it shrink me? Who am I doing this for? And am I choosing this from fear or from a place of freedom? That's the real conversation. Not whether something is fake or not, but whether it's aligned with our truth, our own personal truth. And listen, there's a big difference between direct communication and judgment disguised as truth. And I want to speak to this because I believe that direct communication is very important when done with kindness, with regard for the other person, with a place of, I wonder what motivates women to, or I've noticed when I stopped wearing makeup, I felt more free, or I felt less free. Judgment is if you wear makeup, you're fake. One opens a door, the other slams it shut. And women, we just don't need more doors slammed in our faces. We've had centuries of that already. And we especially don't need it coming from other women. Whew. I get so worked up about this. I want so much for us to raise each other up, to understand each other's stories, to understand our wisdom, not to get so caught up in one-dimensional thinking and thinking that our way is the right way, that we're not honest with ourselves if we don't agree with your point. I want this to end. So, after I got blocked from that conversation, I brought the question over to my own community because let's be honest, y'all are smarter, more compassionate than a stupid comment thread war. And that's how it felt after time. So I'm going to read some of these comments because I want you to hear what other women are saying. One woman says, I think that being authentic means that you do what pleases your soul from moment to moment and day to day. Some days I want to wear makeup and do myself up, and I don't care if my makeup has some toxic qualities to it. Some days my authentic self is done to the nines, and some days my authentic self is shorts and a tank top, no makeup, and my hair in a ponytail. I think that when we aren't authentic is when we are wearing, doing, being, expressing what is not in alignment with our values and our truths. When we do things such as put on a bunch of makeup and wear clothes that we don't feel comfortable in because we think that we have to, not because we want to, that is being inauthentic. And I also think that sometimes we have limiting beliefs that are buried that spill out like, can't leave the house without my face on. This was a saying that my aunt had that I picked up on. I still have to question myself about why I wasn't okay with the face that I have. Why do I need to doctor it up with a bunch of makeup? Who says this? And other limiting beliefs about our value and our contributions in society being hinged on looking a certain way. So, doing the inner work helps make sure that the authenticity is true authenticity and it's not coming from a place of lack or other. And then she said, thanks for the discussion. Another woman says, I believe each of us is different. The authentic self is who we choose to be. If we choose to dress or take care of ourselves in a certain way, that's fine. I do feel it is good for our close friends to communicate with us if they feel we are doing something harmful, but hopefully in a gentle, non judgmental way. I personally enjoy makeup for myself. I have some natural items, and I enjoy that we have a local natural store. Another lady said she had just had this debate with her husband because he is starting to lose his hair and maybe a little self conscious about that, and he's ready to go bald. She doesn't want him to. And she's telling him that no, it's natural. It's fine. Don't shave. I love it like this. Do your comb overs. Just be natural. Be who you are. And his response is, but I want to look this way because it makes me feel more me. It makes me feel better. And his response to her also was, then you can't wear makeup or dye your hair anymore. And I love that. And she responded that it isn't the same thing at all. But I think we know that it is. And we often point this kind of stuff just to us ladies, but what men have their insecurities too. And one of their big ones is their hair. So if they want to go bald, let them choose that. I love a beautiful bald head. I think they're sexy. Maybe she will find them sexier than she thought too. And finally, we have I think we should do what makes us feel our best. I have lived an organic and healthy lifestyle for decades, and aging is inevitable, and we have no control of how or what it looks like. I want my outside to match my insides, and I've wanted this for decades, but sun can't wipe that away. I totally support a natural look with aesthetics for me, not big lips and fake boobs, but that's great for others as long as whatever we do to ourselves is not a codependent behavior. I say do your thing, Chica. We can't outrun the trips around the sun, but we can soften the blows. Mm, I love those responses. They came from a place of love, a place of compassion, and a place of understanding. And it showed me just how layered and nuanced all of our experiences are, right? There's no one size fits all. There's no complete definition of authenticity for each of us. There's nothing finite about us. There's your version and my version, and they both get to exist. So, how can we kind of close this up? And how can we practice embodied authenticity? So here's what I do. And please feel free in the comments or DM me your own thoughts of what you do that helps you feel embodied within your own personal authenticity. But for me, I like to take a moment to pause and feel and ask myself this question: does this choice expand me or constrict me? Why am I doing it? Is it for someone else or is it for me? An intentional check. Where's this coming from? Is this coming from a place of fear, proving, or desire? And then I take in my body's wisdom. How does my body respond if I imagine not doing it? How would I feel? Would I be okay? Because at the end of the day, it's not about the mascara or the implants or the kale salad. It's about whether the choice brings you closer to yourself or takes you further away. If eating the kale salad makes you feel healthy in your body, then eat it. If your favorite mascara makes your lashes look gorgeous and it just lets you feel more you, because perhaps you're like me and you have blonde lashes that don't even show up, wear it. If you have implants because you went through a double mastectomy and you want to feel like your old self again, do it. But also know the pros and the cons. My invitation at this time is this: let's stop measuring each other's authenticity like it's a damn competition. Instead of pointing fingers, lift each other up, fix each other's crowns. Embodied authenticity isn't about the thing, it's about the truth underneath the thing. And when you live from that place, that's when we're free. So wear the jeans because you love the way your butt looks. Wear the bra that pushes those breasts up because you feel sexier. Wear fabrics that feel good to your skin. Define your expression through your style, your looks. And if that makes you feel in alignment with what you want for that day, then do it. At the end of the day, just do you. Be you. So that closes out this episode of Embodied Living. Please give me comments. I want to hear them. I want to know what makes you feel authentic. What gives you a place that you feel your best self? Tell me your stories. Your stories matter. You matter. And I want you to always know that. So as we close this up, I just want to wish you a beautiful day, an embodied day. a pleasurable day.